boosting rural policing to minimize crimes in Telefomin. Police to reintroduce sea policy to curb piracy. And Bernard Nepo takes over as CS Commissioner.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining me. This is Friday's news. Telefomin District in West Sepik Province is addressing law and order issues by establishing police stations and houses in the district. Rural crime rate has increased significantly, but Telefomin MP Solar Mirisin says this effort is to boost and put police presence in the area. Finance Minister James Marape flew into Telefomin to open the new facilities this week.
The lack of police presence in remote areas of the country has allowed the increase in crime and lawlessness. Telefomin District is no different, thus prioritizing rural policing is now the way forward for the district. A government delegation flew into the district headquarters to join the people and open the Telefomin District police station. The police station will also cover the border areas with neighbor country Indonesia.
Now build a police station here. Now police houses. Where now when we bring a policeman, may come inside and sit down here. I think when we roll him out, service you go out long people. Now crack down on this kind of illegal activities when we like a time long.
3 police houses were also built at the cost of 1 million kina funding by the district. Maintaining the government's focus, Finance Minister James Marape says district policing is crucial for services reaching the people.
Like training up to 10,000 policemen within the next 5 years. And challenge them in big platumas with training mall, people need long housing mall, people need long pay mall, uniform mall, give him car law, give him gun law, or make it work good.
The district is aiming to build more houses for more recruits to be stationed in the district and serve rural communities. MP Mirisin says the district is also planning to build a new courthouse and rural correctional institute by 2017.
This house only cost him 600,000. Let me complete this house. Maybe like a 4 police house, maybe like 2 more house.
Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
The body of the deceased Defence Force soldier shot dead by gunmen in Hela Province late last year was handed over to his family in Hanganofi District of Eastern Highlands Province yesterday. At the handing over ceremony in Compri Valley, community leader Bill Nakambi thanked the Defence Force soldiers for finally bringing the body back to his village. However, the family want responsible authorities to explain the death of late Jomuno. They are calling on Police Minister Robert Atiafa to respond to their concerns. Justice Gibbs Salika has reserved ruling today to next week Friday for a woman who was convicted of forgery and uttering in 2012. She committed the offences over a period of time and was involved in 24 repeated acts of forgery and uttering. She used close to 70,000 kina belonging to the Papua New Guinea Cancer Foundation.
Margaret Ani, the offender, is from Central Province. She committed the offense while working as the treasurer of PNG Cancer Foundation. As the then treasurer, she had access to the organization's funds. The court found that she used a total of 66,974 kina, 90 toya, to repay her personal debts. Annie, who is out on bail, was charged with 4 counts of stealing, forgery, uttering and misappropriation. The state filed a submission on sentence today for Annie's imprisonment term. A head sentence for forgery and uttering, each to range from 7 to 14 years imprisonment. Pasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
The police department is now working to reintroduce a sea policy following increasing reports of piracy incidents. In many provinces, boats bought 20 years ago are not working anymore. Police Minister Robert Atiafa has already sent a delegation to Korea to study how water policing units can be set up in the country.
Police Minister Robert Atiafa said a review on sea piracy is underway and will be discussed further in the next Commissioner Summit with the provincial police commanders and the ACPs. A border command was established to look into matters with the border provinces. The command looks after issues like transmigration and illegal border crossing, and sea piracy will also be looked into during this summit.
As well as reintroducing sea piracy. And currently there is a review going on. The Commissioner will be calling a PPC's and ACP's summit shortly. In there we will be discussing all this.
Sea piracy is a relatively big problem in the coastal waters of Morobe and in the other parts of the country. In 2015 alone, there were 5 separate reports of boats being robbed out at sea in the Morobe waters. But police were not able to prevent armed robberies that happen out at sea. The planned units will be responsible for marine policing and will take charge of sea piracy matters. Brian Jack has been a skipper for almost 8 years. He runs his own boat service from Leyte to Finschhafen. Jack was a victim of sea piracy. He had a 40-engine outboard motor, but it was stolen with the other valuables when he was robbed. Assistant Commissioner of Police for Northern Region Peter Guinness said water policing is a priority he wants to capture in his command.
I'd like to see that we have a sea water police based in Morobe Patrol Post, and another in Finschhafen, so that they can be able to patrol the area between Finschhafen to Ley and Morobe to Ley and Morobe to the border of Northern Province.
There have also been 2 separate incidents in Ley City where criminals have used boats to escape. In November last year, criminals escaped on a boat after robbing Ley's Ramai supermarket. And then again, a fast food outlet was robbed.
Criminals have been escaping by sea here in Ley City. The problem is we don't have a police boat. So.
Meanwhile, the Morobe provincial government is trying to manage sea piracy in the Morobe waters, but it needs the full cooperation of all stakeholders. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru said they are willing to work with the police to address the matter. However, the provincial government still doesn't have a strategy to deal with increasing reports of sea piracy. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
Meanwhile, the minister said the police force will focus on completing houses left unfinished before embarking on new ones. The minister's comments were in response to questions about the incomplete police houses at Ley's Bumbu Police Barracks. They will be using the last part of the modernization funds to complete the houses.
The Bumbu Police Barracks housing program in Ley began in 2012. It cost 2.5 million kina. The project was meant to ease the housing problem faced by the constabulary. However, the contractors have left. The houses are incomplete and the yards are now overgrown with weeds.
Part of the last part of the modernization funds will be used to complete the uncompleted police housing and others.
Ley Metropolitan Commander Anthony Wagambi Jr. wants the duplexes completed quickly. The Ley Command wants to house officers who are currently living in the settlements.
Quickly, because we need to utilize those houses to put our personnel inside. We have a couple of our people still out living in the settlements and all that, so it has a big impact on the performance.
As the government talks about increasing manpower within the constabulary, it still needs to solve the accommodation problems faced by officers. Senior officers within the constabulary say there is no point recruiting young personnel when there is no accommodation for them. Last month, the ACP for Northern Region Peter Guinness questioned why those houses were yet to be completed.
You know, the government has embarked on embarked on recruiting more recruits to come to join the police force, but how can we be able to accommodate these recruits when we don't have accommodation?
We are into the 4th year and the 7 duplexes still remain incomplete. The Police Minister Robert Atiafa has made assurance to complete those houses in time. But until this is forthcoming, lay policemen and women continue to provide an essential service. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Lay.
You're with National EMTV News. More stories after the break. Welcome back to the news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has welcomed the ongoing support of the World Bank in Papua New Guinea. At a meeting with World Bank Country Manager in PNG, Steffi Stahlmeister, the Prime Minister was given an update of the bank's overall activities and said he was impressed with progress. Mr. O'Neill said that over the past 3 years, the World Bank has been implementing a country partnership strategy that guides its involvement in PNG. He said the strategy is aimed at working together to ensure women and men, girls and boys benefit equally from PNG's development goals. The Prime Minister said engagement with global bodies like the World Bank brings the wealth of knowledge and information to the people of Papua New Guinea, and he looks forward to the relationship going from strength to strength. A landowner group in Tatana village, Port Moresby, has called on the government to give them the recognition they deserve. Motukea Landowner Holdings Limited feel they have not been treated fairly by the government with regards to developments happening on their land. They are in support of the government's development plans, but want to be actively involved in the development process.
Motukea Landowner Holdings Limited is the latest landowner company to have come out of Tatana village. Like other landowner companies, it is pushing for the recognition of landowners in Tatana village. Much of the land in Tatana has been given up for development purposes, but the people have seen very little benefits from these developments. The port relocation to Motukea is one such development that the landowners want to be involved in. They plan to participate in these opportunities through their newly formed company. For years, they feel they have been spectators in their own land without any real support from the government. As much as they support the developments on their land, they want the government to be fair in awarding ongoing stevedoring contracts in the future. Motukea Landowner Holdings Limited also appealed to the people of Tatana to put aside their differences to realize the benefits of these developments. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news. The Kina closed 5 points lower at $0.3290 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Yokina was buying $0.3215 $0.4478 Australian dollars, $0.2810 euro, and 35.95 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, and cocoa closed higher. Copra closed the day lower. Crude oil closed lower, while palm oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 254 points lower, the ASX closed at 4 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 9 points higher. New CS Commissioner Bernard Nepo takes office. We'll have that story among others after the break. Welcome back to the news. Bernard Nepo has taken over as Correctional Service Commissioner. At a news conference this afternoon, he made the announcement and presented a letter from the National Executive Council signed by the Prime Minister. He has assured the people that despite recent instability in the department, public safety is guaranteed. The National Executive Council has terminated former Commissioner Michael Waipo and appointed Bernard Nepo to act on the position.
Bernard Nepo took over the role as Acting Commissioner of the Correctional Service as of 2 p.m. today. He took over the role after the National Executive Council terminated former Commissioner Michael Waipo for non-performance. A formal NEC letter over Mr. Waipo's termination was released today. In an interview with EMTV News this afternoon, the acting commissioner says he will act on this role for 3 months but has big plans for the department.
Yeah, decision number 15 of 2016. So that decision effectively means that I am the commissioner. And that was announced by the minister responsible today during the media conference that we have acting commissioner. I will continue on with what Mr. Waivo has left off. That is normal process of work, and tough discipline will follow on those who violate normal code of discipline.
Last Friday, following the NEC meeting, Waipo was verbally told that he was replaced by Nepo. The announcement resulted in a standoff between CS members in the headquarters and a break-and-enter at the armory at the Bomana CS College. This afternoon, Mr. Nepo says they will allow police to investigate the matter. He said despite the recent instability, he assured the people that public safety is guaranteed.
That will mean that commanders at the various institutions will take responsibility over the institution.
Quinten Alomp, National EMTV News.
People of Mount Bosavi in the border areas of southern, Hela and western provinces will see government services to the area after 50 years of isolation. A 48-kilometer road project by the Nipa-Kutubu district to Bosavi was launched recently. The launching was witnessed by Nipa-Kutubu MP Jeffrey Komal, Chairman of Kutubu Resource Petroleum John Kapinato, the Kutubu Special Purposes Authority and the people of Kutubu and Bosavi.
The people of Mount Bosavi have been isolated for over 50 years. Most communities are inaccessible, resulting in little or no government presence in the area. The Nipa-Kutubu district is now building a 48-kilometer road in the lower Faso to Waro and Bosavi. Nipa-Kutubu MP Jeffrey Komal says this is the missing link for the 5,000 people of Bosavi.
Give him hope, Lord, people now. Put him up this, give him this missing link. Long link him up with people long Waro, Fogomayona, Bosavi.
The locals have welcomed the road project with more anticipation of seeing services like education and health at the doorsteps. Only access to Bosavi is by air or walking for up to a week. The road project is funded and supported by the national government, but MP Komal says more funding is needed to complete the road project.
May request also government again continue to fund him. It's an ongoing project, so government can continue to fund him. Give him hope long all people long Kutubu na Bosavi.
Earlier this month, the Bosavi people also witnessed the launch of another road linked to the Komomagrama district of Hela province.
Ogada baudugim kal, ogada baudugim service, ogada baudugim or government, ogada baudum kalika something company by Commissioner Bosavi.
For the Bosavi people, these roads are crucial for more development. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
The PNG Electoral Commission is awaiting funding to conduct a by-election for the vacant Samurai Murua open seat. Electoral Commissioner Patilias Gamato said timely approval and release of funding by the national government will allow for the by-election to go ahead. Mr. Gamato said he wrote to the Prime Minister requesting for an estimated 4.5 million kina for the by-election and is awaiting a response. The Electoral Commissioner had previously announced that there would be no by-election due to time factor and funding issues. However, he explained that if it is practical in terms of funding, then the Commission is duty-bound to conduct a by-election as required and provided for under Section 106 of the Constitution and Organic Law on the national and local level government elections. A central provincial government officially commenced its 2016 working year today in Port Moresby. This follows a dedication service by Pastor Reverend Tony Delaka, which relinquished the central provincial government organizational plans for this year. Eric Harukma with this report.
The choir group from the Maori Gaudi Memorial Church at Vabakori village, led by Central Maro radio announcer Venice Moses, welcomed the arrival of guests with contemporary motto and songs. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the department, Central Provincial Administrator Gay Raga announced the plans for the 2016 working year. Mr. Raga commended his employees for the job and encouraged them to serve with honesty and justice. During the dedication service, the Reverend Pastor Doni Delaka blessed the Central Provincial Government officials and their local MPs with a word of prayer. Central Governor Kila Aoda said 2016 is a year of change and that change can make a difference if they work together. He said changes come from God and challenge employees to serve with commitment and dedication to see transparency and accountability delivered to all levels of the government.
We are serving our people, and our people are God's people. When you serve our people to the remotest area, because in God there is no remotest area. In us we have remotest area. When you serve the people there, you're making God happy. You're serving God's people, and you must serve with loyalty to your leaders. Serve with dedication.
However, he says that there are no shortcuts in service delivery. He said that district development authorities are the key implementers of service delivery to the people in the rural areas. Eric Aruma, National EMTV News.
There is a new twist involving the satellite that North Korea launched into space. A U.S. senior defense official said the satellite is tumbling in orbit. That means it's incapable of functioning in any useful way. The international community is considering stiffer sanctions against North Korea in response to that rocket launch. However, North Korea also has strong economic ties with China.
It's called the Pride of Pyongyang. Taedonggang, a beer with a soft, smooth and fragrant taste. Propaganda from North Korea is nothing new. Commercially motivated adverts are.
I think some of what we're seeing in terms of, by North Korean standards, sort of innovative branding and marketing of their products is genuinely targeting Chinese consumers to see if they can get into the Chinese market.
China is one of the few markets in the world that the heavily sanctioned North Korea can access. Its portal to the rest of the world. Visiting a cosmetics factory last year, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called for the domestic Onhasu brand to become internationally recognized. Reliable data from North Korea doesn't exist, but South Korea says last year trade between the two was at a record high at $2.7 billion, despite high tensions over the summer. Trade with China in 2014 was $7.6 billion, representing 90% of all North Korean trade. Kim Jong-un has made the economy part of successive New Year's speeches, this year calling for all efforts to be made to build, quote, an economic giant.
After the inauguration of the Kim Jong-un regime, we have been witnessing many changes, including new restaurants, Western style, and cafe, and taxi running on the street.
Not to mention a new ski resort and an amusement park, all welcome developments for the elite and those living in Pyongyang. But in the rural areas, there are still reports of food insecurity and malnutrition, a two-track economy with the gap in between continuing to rise. Farmers now work with incentive-led schemes, however, allowing them to keep more if they grow more. And the days of the late Kim Jong-il's disastrous economic decisions are gone.
They cannot go back. They have lost the mechanisms of a command economy, of a Soviet-style economy. And what's really remarkable about Kim Jong-un is you can see he's not trying to go back.
The new UN report accuses all sides of the Syrian conflict of committing war crimes, the Syrian government, anti-government troops and terrorist groups. A CNN journalist visited Aleppo's located in the heart of Syria's 5-year war.
Years of urban combat have laid waste to Aleppo's old town. Syrian army snipers scan the terrain for possible movement on the other side.
We're right on the front line in the Syrian government's offensive against the opposition, and the soldiers here tell us they still frequently see rebels on the other side, but they also say they often pick them off from the sniper's nest.
This soldier tells me morale has never been higher. Thanks to God, everything here is under control, he says. Our fingers are on the triggers, ready to destroy the rebels. Bashar al-Assad's forces have made major gains in the Aleppo area in recent weeks, while the opposition rebels say they're simply being slaughtered. But for years, this battlefield was in a stalemate, the front line right around Aleppo's ancient citadel. As Syrian and Russian warplanes hover overhead, the commander knows who to thank for the newfound momentum.
It's only a matter of months now till we win, he says. Thanks to the Russian support with their airstrikes flown from the Syrian airfield, we will defeat the rebels once and for all. Aleppo was Syria's largest and one of its most historic towns. Tourists from all over the world used to flock to the old town before it was engulfed by Syria's brutal civil war. The old town of Aleppo is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Some of these buildings are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. And now, as you can see, most have been completely destroyed and burned out. But now Assad's troops believe they are on the verge of a decisive victory. The commander warns the U.S. not to interfere. We are steadfast, he says. You cannot defeat the Syrian army because we are determined to win and we're loyal to President Assad. Amid this divided and destroyed city, Syrian government forces believe they're dealing a crushing blow to the opposition, one that could end this 5-year civil war that's destroyed so much more than just the landscape.
Trukai Sports is next. We'll have news on basketball and snooker. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG Basketball Federation aims to take basketball to other parts of the country. The announcement of new Executive Officer Joel Kalu is timely as the Federation strives to grow the sport of basketball in Papua New Guinea.
The PNG Basketball Federation now has plans to further develop and grow the sport of basketball nationwide.
You know, as we said, we want to grow the game in the outer regions as well. So, you know, part of my role will be going out, kind of evaluating what facilities we've got, what the need of those associations out there are, and making sure that we try and meet those needs as best we can. So, you know, growing the game, you know, it takes, you know, facilities as well. So, you know, that'll be something at a board level that we talk about in terms of identifying what we've got and what we've got access to.
Following the Pacific Games, the country now has quality sporting facilities available, which PNG Basketball plans to utilize in developing the sport.
Yeah, look, I think initially, we've been blessed with, you know, all the facility development as part of the Pacific Games. So, you know, for us in the short term, it's about negotiating agreements with the PNG Sports Foundation, Olympic Committee about, you know, utilising those facilities that we've got, especially in Port Moresby. But, you know, as we said, we want to grow the game in the outer regions as well. So,
PNG Basketball Federation has development plans lined up through the partnership with FIBA and Oceania Basketball.
PNG would like to thank the Australian government for the programs that they've lined up through FIBA and Oceania, and that's the Hoops for Health that will be coming along, as well as training clinics for juniors right up to elite level that will be under Joel's care going forward from here. Thank you.
Basketball PNG aims to grow the sport throughout the country and see it become a leading sport in Papua New Guinea.
Overhead? No. Okay, fine.
PNG Basketball's improvement was evident during the Pacific Games, with the men's team just missing out on a podium finish, but are eager to further improve in the coming years. Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
PNG Billiards and Snooker Association held its 2015 trophy presentation last night. Awards were given to outstanding players from various tournaments held last year.
The presentation of medals kicked off with the corporate snooker competition winner, Starland Laguna Dragons 2, winning the A-grade competition. Marcus Ning Yuen received a couple of medals last night. He was awarded for winning last year's Alotau snooker competition, highest breaker and champion in the Caving Open, runner-up in the PNG men's snooker titles, and the 2015 Male Player of the Year. Young and upcoming talent Edward Lakai scooped a couple of awards after having an outstanding year of competition. He was also given the 2015 Best Junior Player. In the women's division, Hane Vaeke was awarded a medal for winning the PNG Women's Handicap Challenge, while Gewa John received awards for winning the POM 6 Red Shootout, PNG National Women's Snooker titles, and the 2015 Female Player of the Year. It was a successful year and competitors are looking forward to a bigger, better competition in 2016, with the competition to kick off on the 29th of February. Elijah Levet, National MTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Stephen Tommy was presented a certificate today by Master Jamuga Stone for carrying out martial arts and taekwondo training in New Ireland Province. The event was witnessed by member for Namatanai Byron Chan.
Stephen Tommy, a well-respected fighter in his home province of New Ireland and in Port Moresby, will be the first Kempo instructor in New Ireland.
He's been doing martial arts for maybe more than 10 years under our minister. And so she came into my to train with Jungle Gym and NCD Taekwondo. We saw his progress was very good, and he's currently the PNG Kyokushin champion. So Stephen has it all.
Stephen represented the country during the 2015 Pacific Games and has been an inspiration to young martial artists in his area. Member for Namatanai Byron Chan assured Master Stone that the growth and participation will increase over the years.
I appreciate the time that you have with our New Ireland boys here, and I hope that we'll see further achievements.
There are also plans of New Ireland hosting provincial competitions in the area.
We want to maybe hold a tournament maybe in Cavian. Like Boxing Day was a big success. I heard that boxing went to Cavian and was a big success. So maybe something like that.
New Ireland will be affiliating their existing clubs with Master Stones and come up with a restructure to adopt the Taekwondo syllabus. Elijah Levet, National MTV Sports.
FIFA presidential candidate Prince Ali of Jordan says there is a culture of fear at soccer's governing body. Ali complained of climate of fear and reprisals within the soccer governing body, adding that punishment for disloyal member federations has affected their national teams.
Prince Ali, one of the 5 candidates standing for the presidency of soccer's scandal-plagued governing body, said he was seen as a rebel during his 4 years on the executive committee. FIFA is mired in the worst crisis in its 111-year history, with criminal investigations underway in Switzerland and the United States. Prince Ali is regarded as an outsider in the race, where Gianni Infantino has been given the backing of European soccer's governing body, UEFA and South American's CONMEBOL, while Africa and Asia's confederations have been backed by Sheikh Salman bin Ibrahim Al Khalifa.
Development projects mysteriously stall. Tournament hosting bids are suddenly compromised or withdrawn. National teams start to mysteriously face less favorable fixtures and even referees.
World Cup qualifiers are usually organized by confederations of the continents in which they take place. Prince Ali said he was surprised to learn when he joined FIFA's executive committee that meetings were held below ground at its Zurich headquarters.
All of these are effective ways to punish member associations that fail to demonstrate political loyalty.
Switzerland's Attorney General has launched a criminal investigation into the decisions to award the 2018 and 2022 World Cups in Russia and Qatar, respectively, and Prince Ali said the votes could be reviewed under his leadership.
Well, as president, be there to make sure that real issues such as human rights and workers' rights are abided by, having said that, if I'm elected president.
Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, showers with occasional thunderstorm for Port Moresby, showers developing to rain for Daru, showers with occasional thunderstorms for Kerema, and rain with occasional thunderstorms for Alatau and Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, showers for all centres. In the New Guinea Islands, rain with occasional thunderstorms for Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, squally rain with occasional thunderstorms for Kimbe, and rain with thunderstorms for Buka. And in the Highlands region, showers developing to rain with occasional thunderstorms, then morning fog for all centres. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. Strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of Papua New Guinea. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerema to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samurai Island, and with waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas 1.5 to 3.0 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters, rising to 2.0 to 3 meters over open waters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vietis Strait, including CRC Islands, Dampier Strait, to Long Island to Madang and Bogia, and with waters of West New Britain, seas 2.5 to 3.0 meters. Waters of Bogia to Wewak, to Aitape to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian borders, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 1.5 to 2.0 meters. And waters of New Island to East New Britain to Bougainville, seas 2.0 to 2.5 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas. In the Coral Seas, seas moderate to rough with southwest to northwest winds at 20 to 34 knots with gusts. Solomon Seas, seas rough with northwest winds at 25 to 34 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas rough with northwest winds at 25 to 34 knots with gusts. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas moderate to rather rough with northeast to northerly winds at 15 to 25 knots. Before we go, recapping our main stories for tonight. Boosting rural policing to minimize crimes in Telefomin District. Police to reintroduce sea policy to curb incidents of piracy. And Bernard Nepo takes over as CS Commissioner. And that has been the news, sports and weather this Friday, the 12th of February 2016. On behalf of the EMTV News team, I'm Hope Imaka. Pleasant viewing. Good night.